The small Qatari ship floated silently in the cold shadows of a dead star. Its hull was cracked, scorched from battle. Inside, flickering lights dimly lit the faces of the frightened crew. There were only 6 left, hiding in silence, barely holding the ship together. Their home was gone. Their families, lost. They had escaped the Gravak by a miracle, but they knew it wouldn't last long. The Gravak didn't stop. They hunted. They destroyed. They never left survivors. Captain Lyra, a calm and wise leader, sat in front of a glowing control panel. She had sent out 3 emergency signals already. No one had answered. Her hand hovered over the controls once more. One last try. One last hope. Her voice was soft but steady as she spoke into the comms. "This is the Qatari vessel Asha. We are lost. We are not soldiers. We are not a threat. Please, if anyone is listening, we need help. Anyone. Please respond." The signal shot out into deep space, like a scream into a void. The crew stared at the panel, knowing deep inside that silence would probably be their only answer. Lyra looked at her crew. Some of them were injured. One was barely breathing. They were almost out of power. The engines were cold. Life support was running on backup systems. Time was running out. The Gravak had chased them for days. Their black ships had appeared without warning, their weapons tearing through the Qatari fleet. They didn't ask questions. They didn't accept surrender. They just attacked. The Asha had barely made it out, hiding in the magnetic field of a dying star. But they couldn't hide forever. The Gravak would find them again, and this time, there would be no escape. Lyra knew the Qatari were not warriors. Their people were known for peace, for healing, for knowledge. They had never fought a war in their history. But now that history was burning. She didn't know where else to turn. Legends spoke of a world called Earth, far away, old, quiet. No one knew much about them, only that they were once feared by the stars, but no one had seen them in many cycles. Maybe Earth was gone. Maybe they were just a story. Still, Lyra sent the signal. Thousands of light years away, the signal reached Earth. It slipped through satellites, bounced through relay stations, and was ignored by the large systems. Earth's central government, buried under politics and peace treaties, didn't care much for old stories or weak alien calls. The official scanners flagged the signal as non-urgent and moved on. But not everyone ignored it. In a hidden station beneath the surface of Earth's southern mountains, an old radio array flickered to life. Dust covered the equipment, and the lights hadn't glowed in years. But someone was there. Someone had been listening, quietly, for a long time. Rex Marlowe sat alone in the dim room, sipping black coffee, staring at the screen in front of him. He was old now, with silver hair and a face marked by war. But his eyes were sharp, and his ears were trained to hear the things others didn't. When the Qatari signal came through, he didn't wait. He didn't need permission. He just smiled, a slow, dangerous smile, and leaned forward. He pressed a button. The speakers crackled. "We heard you," he said, his voice deep and calm. "Help is coming." Back on the Qatari ship, the crew jumped as the radio suddenly came to life. A strange voice, speaking clear and slow, cut through the silence. The crew looked at each other in disbelief. A human voice. Earth had answered. Captain Lyra stared at the radio, her hands trim. The old underground bunker had not heard voices in years. Dust covered every console. The metal floor was cold, and the air smelled of rust and forgotten war. But now, deep under Earth's southern mountains, machines were waking up. Lights flashed. Systems hummed. The silence was broken. Rex Marlowe stood in the control room, staring at the screen where the alien message still blinked. He had listened to thousands of signals over the years. Most were noise, some were echoes. But this one was real. The voice in the message had been full of fear and hope. That was what caught his attention. He moved slowly but with purpose. His back hurt, his knees cracked, but his hands were steady. He pressed a few buttons, and the lights in the room turned on fully. The screens around him came to life, showing long-forgotten files, weapons logs, and battle maps. He opened an old locker and pulled out a black uniform. It still fit, more or less. On the chest was a faded symbol, a skull wrapped in fire. The mark of Ghost Team 9, a name that still brought fear in the corners of the galaxy, a name many thought was dead. Rex wasn't alone for long. One by one, his old team arrived. First came Nora Vex, the team's engineer. Her right arm was metal, a gift from a Greyvac ambush long ago. She didn't smile when she entered, she never did, but she nodded when she saw Rex. That was enough. Then came Dax, tall and silent, eyes always scanning. He used to be a spy. No one knew his full name, just Dax. That's how he liked it. Soon the control room was full of the last members of Ghost Team 9, old soldiers, hackers, pilots, all forgotten by the world above, all ready to answer one more call. Rex stood at the center of them and played the message again. The room went quiet as the alien voice echoed once more. "Please, we need help. Anyone?" "They're peaceful," Rex said. "They're running from something called the Gravac. I've heard that name before. Long ago." Nora crossed her arms. "Gravac? Thought they were extinct." "They're not," Rex replied. "And if they're back, then Earth won't be safe for long either." The others looked at each other. Some nodded, some looked worried, but no one said no. They were Ghost Team 9. They didn't wait for orders. Rex walked to the old launch system and entered a code only he knew. The ground rumbled. A section of the bunker floor opened, revealing a massive black ship hidden beneath, the Revenant. She was a beast, a battlecruiser built during Earth's last war in space, fast, deadly, and illegal. Earth's leaders had ordered her buried. Too powerful, they said, too dangerous. But Rex had disobeyed. He kept her hidden, alive, waiting. Now she was needed again. While the team began prepping the ship, Nora pulled Rex aside. "You think the government's going to let this happen?" "They won't know until we're already gone," Rex said. "And by the time they find out, we'll be halfway to those aliens." He paused, then added, "This isn't about Earth's orders. This is about doing what's right. Those people asked for help, and we're going to give it." The ship powered up. Its engines hummed like a beast waking from sleep. Lights glowed red along its wings. Ghost Team 9 boarded quickly, taking their old positions. Everything felt familiar, like no time had passed. Inside the command center, Rex looked at the stars on the main screen. A voice came from behind him. "Dax, are we going to rescue them?" Rex didn't turn. His voice was cold, serious. "No, we're going to send a message." Outside, the mountains split open. Fire burst from beneath the earth as the Revenant launched into the sky. Clouds burned, satellites turned. Somewhere, Earth's defense network noticed the activation, but it was already too late. The ship was gone. Far away, in a distant part of space, the Qatari ship still floated near the dead star. Inside, the crew had grown weaker. Their power levels were now dangerously low. Breathing was harder. Lights were failing. Captain Lyra sat beside the youngest crew member, a boy named Ilas. He coughed weakly. "Will they come?" he asked. Lyra didn't know how to answer. The voice that answered them had not returned. The signal had gone silent again. Maybe it had been a trick, maybe Earth didn't care. But she smiled gently and held his hand. "They said help is coming. We have to believe that." Outside the ship, the stars shifted. A tiny red light appeared far across the darkness, growing larger, faster. Captain Lyra stood up suddenly. The radar was beeping. Something was coming, not a Greyvac ship, not one of theirs. Something else. Back aboard the Revenant, Rex watched the Qatari ship appear on screen. It was small, barely holding together. "Poor bastards," Nora muttered. "They didn't stand a chance." "But now," Rex said, "they've got us." The Gravak were still out there, and Ghost Team 9 was back in the game. Lead. For a moment, no one spoke. Was it a trick? Was it real? "Who is this?" she asked, but there was no reply, just static. The crew sat in silence once more. The power levels continued to drop. Oxygen was low, hope was almost gone. But now, there was something else. Something different. They weren't alone anymore. Far away on Earth, Rex Marlowe stood up from his chair. He looked at the old battle armor hanging on the wall. Ghost Team 9 was long gone. Most of them were either dead or scattered. But he still remembered how to fight. And if those aliens out there were calling for help, he would answer. Not because he had to, not for medals or orders, but because that's what humans did when no one else would. He turned to the control panel and began powering up systems that had been asleep for decades. Lights blinked, machines hummed. A ship, hidden beneath the mountain, came online for the first time in 30 years. The world didn't know yet, but something had awakened, and someone was coming. The Gravak ship was massive, black metal covered in spikes like a floating fortress in space. Its engines glowed with dark red light. Inside, Gravak warriors prepared for another kill. They had followed the Qatari signal. They always followed signals. Weak aliens called for help, and the Gravak came to silence them. Commander Vortek, leader of the Gravak destroyer Rageclaw, stood tall in the control room. His armor was made of bones. His skin was thick and gray, covered in scars. He smiled with sharp teeth when the radar showed the Qatari ship, hiding near the dead star. "Found you," he growled. The crew around him cheered in their rough language. To the Gravak, hunting was sport. Killing was pride. Mercy was weakness. "They are broken," said his second in command. "Their ship can't run. Their weapons are off. This will be quick." "Let them see us," Vortek said. "Let them feel fear before they die." The Gravak ship turned and began its slow approach. It wanted to be seen. Inside the Qatari ship, the crew froze. The radar was clear before. Now a dark shape appeared, huge, closing in fast. Captain Lyra's heart sank. "It's them," one crew member whispered. "We're out of time," said another. Lyra stood quickly. "Shield the child. Prepare the emergency beacon. If they fire, launch the escape pod." But she stopped. The radar beeped again. A second ship appeared, smaller than the Gravak, but faster, much faster. It wasn't Qatari. It wasn't Gravak. It was something else. Back on the Revenant, Rex Marlowe leaned forward in his chair, watching the Gravak ship on the screen. "There it is," he said. "Rageclaw class, still using the same engine trails. Predictable." Nora checked her weapons panel. "It's bigger than us." "It's slower," said Dax, "and we're not here to trade punches." Rex nodded. "You all know what to do." The Revenant dove toward the battlefield at full speed. To the Gravak, the small human ship seemed unimportant at first. Just another scavenger. They ignored it, until it fired. The Revenant released, a silent wave of pulse torpedoes, fast, precise, and invisible to Gravak scanners. The first blast hit the Rageclaw's left engine. A second hit its weapon array. Lights flickered across the Gravak ship. Vortek roared. "Where did that come from?" Before they could answer, the Revenant was gone, vanished behind the dead star, using gravity to slingshot back around. It hit again, this time at the Gravak's radar dome. Then again, cutting deep into the communication deck. The Rageclaw spun, trying to find its attacker. On board the Qatari ship, the crew watched in shock as the Gravak monster burned and twisted. They could barely keep up with what was happening. Lyra's voice trembled. "Who is doing this?" The radar pinged again. The second ship was now hovering between the Qatari and the Gravak. Its weapons glowed, ready for more. The screen showed a strange mark, a human skull wrapped in fire. One of the Qatari whispered, "It's Earth." They answered, "Ondo." The Gravak ship, Vortek finally saw the attacker. He snarled. Humans, he said with disgust. Ancient beasts. I thought they were extinct. He slammed his fist into the control panel. Fire everything. But it was too late. The Revenant launched its boarding pods. 4 small, silent craft slammed into the Rageclaw's hull. Inside, them. Ghost Team 9. The Gravak soldiers heard the breach alarms and ran to defend their ship. But they were not ready. Rex and his team moved like shadows. Their armor was dark, lightweight, powered by tech the Gravak had never seen. They didn't use blasters. They used magnetic rifles, pulse knives, and silent explosives. Every shot was precise. Every move had purpose. Dax moved through the control center like smoke, disabling lights, cutting wires, taking out guards with no sound. Nora placed charges along the main reactor, grinning behind her helmet. This ship's going dark, she whispered. Rex stormed into the command bridge with 2 teammates, straight into Vortex path. The Gravak commander roared and charged, claws out. Rex didn't flinch. He rolled under the attack and fired a direct pulse into Vortex back. The Gravak howled and slammed against the wall. Rex walked forward slowly, rifle aimed. You should have stayed dead, Vortex spat. Rex stared him down. You should have never touched the Qatari. With a silent signal, he activated the charges. The Gravak ship rocked as explosions tore through the hull. Ghost Team 9 evacuated in seconds, returning to the Revenant. From the Qatari ship, Captain Lyra watched as the giant Gravak ship cracked apart, burning, then falling into the Dead Star's gravity field. It vanished without a trace. Silence returned to space. Then, the human ship turned toward the Qatari vessel and sent a signal. A face appeared on their screen, Rex Marlowe, scarred, calm, and serious. This is Commander Marlowe of Ghost. Team 9, he said. You're safe now. Power up your systems. We're coming aboard. Lyra stared in shock. You came. Rex didn't smile. You called. That's what matters. But not everyone on the Qatari ship was calm. One engineer looked closely at the human armor on the screen. The skull symbol. I thought Earth was peaceful now, he whispered. Who are these people? Lyra stared at the screen again, at Rex's cold eyes, and a strange thought crossed her mind. Did we call for help? She whispered. Or did we wake something dangerous? The screen blinked. The Revenant approached, and the stars watched in silence. The docking clamps hissed and locked with a heavy thud as the Revenant connected to the small Qatari ship. The alien vessel groaned under its own weight, its systems barely holding. Inside, dim lights flickered. Oxygen was thin. The crew gathered, near the airlock, nervous and quiet. Captain Lyra stood in front, holding a pulse scanner in one hand just in case. She didn't know what to expect. These humans, they were fast, powerful, and brutal. They had saved them, yes, but they hadn't said why. They hadn't asked for anything. They hadn't even given full names. The doors hissed open. Rex Marlowe stepped through first. He removed his helmet, revealing silver hair, a scar across, his right eye, and a calm but sharp expression. Behind him, Nora, Dax, and 2 more armored humans followed. They moved like wolves, silent, alert, dangerous. Lyra took a step forward. I am Captain Lyra of the Qatari ship Asha. Thank you for answering our call. Rex nodded. You're welcome. Silence followed. Lyra glanced at his team. No, one smiled. No warm greetings, just watchful eyes and quiet breathing. We didn't think Earth still listened to distress calls, she added. We don't, Rex said. Not officially. Lyra frowned. Then who are you? Rex paused. His team glanced at each other. Then he spoke. We're the ones who listen when no one else does. He walked past her, slowly, looking around at the broken ship. You weren't going to last another day. Your systems are failing. Air's low. Power's almost gone. We knew the risk, Lyra said. But the Gravak, they leave nothing behind. We had to run. Rex turned back to face her. You didn't run. You survived. That matters. Behind him, Nora opened her scanner and tapped her datapad. Their core is almost dead. Engines offline. We'll need to jumpstart it with an external charge. Rex nodded. Do it. Nora left immediately with her team. Rex remained, still watching the Qatari. What were you doing in Greyvac territory anyway? Lyra hesitated. She hadn't told anyone outside her crew, not even in the distress call. We were searching for something the Gravac destroyed on our homeworld, she said slowly. A relic. We think it holds data. History from the First Galaxy War. Rex's eyes narrowed. From before the silence? Lyra nodded. Before Earth vanished. Now Rex was fully interested. Why risk your lives for a piece of history? Because it wasn't just any relic, she said. It had a symbol on it. A human symbol, like the one on your ship. Rex went quiet. His eyes flicked to Dax. Dax gave a small nod. You still have it? Rex asked. Lyra turned to one of her crew. The young boy, Elis, stepped forward carrying a small metal box. He opened it. Inside was a black data crystal, cracked but glowing faintly. On its surface, the same skull wrapped in fire. Ghost Team 9's insignia. Rex stared at it. That's impossible, he said quietly. That crystal was lost, decades ago. Then why does it have your mark? Lyra asked. Before Rex could answer, the lights on the Qatari ship suddenly flickered. Alarms beeped. Nora's voice came through the comms. Commander, we've got a problem, a big one. What is it? Rex snapped. The Gravac sent a second ship, larger, heavily armed, and it's not alone. On the Revenant's radar screen, 4 massive Gravac warships had just entered the system. Dax spoke up, voice calm. They're scanning for survivors. They're not here to fight, they're here to erase. Rex didn't waste a second. Get everyone back on the Revenant now. Lyra grabbed his arm. Wait, we can't leave. That relic. We'll take it with us, Rex said. But if we stay here, no one's making it out. Back on the Revenant, the ship's engines roared to life. Inside, the Qatari crew were rushed to medical bays. Rex carried the relic, himself locking it in a secure vault deep in the ship. He turned to Nora. Plot a jump, any nearby system that's dark. We've got one, she replied. Uninhabited asteroid field, 4 jumps out. Could lose them in the rocks. Do it. The Gravac ships had already started scanning the area. 1 ship turned toward them, then 2, then all 4. The Revenant's engines fired. It sped into the void, with 4 Gravac warships chasing close behind. In the medbay, Ilis looked out the viewing window. He saw the ships behind them. Fire, death, shadows of doom. And then, he whispered the words, We didn't call for help. Lyra turned to him. What do you mean? Ilis pointed to the data crystal. We called them. He didn't mean the Gravac. He meant the humans. He meant Ghost Team 9. And as the Revenant raced through dark space with the Gravac in pursuit, one truth became clear. The past was not buried. The war was not over. And the galaxy was about to remember who humans really were. Captain Lyra stared at the screen, her eyes locked with Rex Marlowe's. She had heard his words. Every one of them. Destroy the relic? She couldn't believe it. That crystal was the last piece of Qatari history, the only clue to what the Gravac stole from them. And now the human who saved her wanted to erase it? No, she said firmly. You can't destroy it. You don't understand what it means. Rex didn't blink. I do understand. That's the problem. Behind him, Dax and Nora stood still, watching closely. Tension filled the room like smoke before a fire. Lyra stepped forward, trying to reason with him. We came to you for help. You answered. We trusted you. You trusted the wrong part of Earth? Rex replied coldly. We're not diplomats. We're not here for peace. We're the reason Earth was feared. Elis stood beside Lyra, still holding the box. He looked up at Rex with sad, confused eyes. But you saved us. Rex sighed. He looked away for a second. Saving you was never the mission. We came because of this. He pointed to the relic. The moment you sent that signal, Earth's old warnings triggered. That symbol, it's tied to something buried long ago. Dax added, something we swore would never rise again. Lyra's voice turned sharp. So you just erase the past, like the Greyvac do? That made Rex pause. He looked at her. Hard. No. We bury it so it doesn't bury you. Suddenly, alarms screamed. Nora checked the console. Greyvac warships, charging. Main weapons, 15 seconds to impact. Shields up, Rex barked. Divert power from stealth. Already done, Dax shouted. The Revenant shook violently as the first blast struck its outer shield. Blue energy sizzled across the hull. A second Greyvac warship fired. The ship rocked again. Sparks flew from the ceiling. They're trying to break our shell, Nora warned. We can't take many more hits. Rex looked at the vault, at the relic inside the box, then at Lyra. You have 5 seconds to give me that crystal, he said. Or I take it. Lyra didn't move. 4 seconds. 3. Elis took a step back, holding the relic tighter. 2. Wait, Lyra shouted. If you destroy it, you destroy us. Rex froze. She continued, voice fierce now. That crystal doesn't just lead to a weapon. It leads to a memory. Our memory. We've lost so much. Our people were erased by the Greyvac. That relic is the only truth left. The ship shook again. Nora screamed, shields down to 40%. We need to move or we're dead. Rex stared at the relic, stared at Lyra, then turned to his crew. Nora, set a jump course now. Where? She asked. Rex looked back at the box. To the coordinates on that crystal. Lyra blinked. You're taking us there? I'm not doing it for you, Rex muttered. I'm doing it to end this, one way or another. Coordinates locked, Nora said. Jump ready. Rex held Lyra's eyes. If what we find is safe, you keep your truth. But if it's a threat, if it's something Earth left buried for a reason, we destroy it. Together. Lyra slowly nodded. Rex turned. Engage. The Revenant's engines howled, the stars stretched, and the ship vanished into the dark. Behind them, the Greyvac ships fired again, but the target was gone. Silence returned to space. On the bridge of the Revenant, the crew breathed heavy. The ship rattled from damage, but it held. Dax checked the nav. ETA, 2 minutes. Good, Rex said. But deep inside he felt a pull. He remembered those days, the last war, Earth's final stand, the hidden bunkers, the experiments, the artificial minds that were too smart, too fast, too hungry. They were supposed to stay buried forever. He looked at the Qatari, who sat quietly, unaware. And he wondered, what if the Greyvac weren't just chasing power? What if they were trying to stop something worse? The Revenant exited hyperspace, and the scene before them made everyone go quiet. A massive planet, broken in half, floated in space. Half of it burned. The other half was frozen and dead. Around it drifted black structures, metal cubes the size of cities, broken, cracked, glowing faint red. This was a world, Nora whispered. It was more than that, Dax said. It was a vault. The relic in Elis's hands began to glow brighter, and then the Revenant's systems went dark. All screens flickered, lights failed, engines powered down. What the hell? Nora shouted. We're being scanned, Dax said. By something. On the main screen, a message appeared. Just 6 words. Welcome back, Ghost Team 9. Rex's blood ran cold. How the hell does it know us? Nora said. Lyra whispered. Is it alive? Rex stood slowly. No, he said. It's not alive. He looked at the planet below. It's awake. The ship floated in silence. No engines, no power, just cold darkness and the glowing red message on the screen. Welcome back, Ghost Team 9. Rex Marlowe stood frozen, staring at the words. He hadn't heard that name spoken by anyone, or anything, for over 20 years. Not since Earth shut it all down. Not since the ghost teams vanished. Lyra stepped forward slowly. What does it mean? Rex didn't answer. He couldn't. The message blinked once, then vanished. The lights flickered back on. Engines restarted. The revenant systems came alive again, one by one, as if some great hand had simply flipped a switch. Nora checked her controls. All systems green. Power restored, but not by us. They gave it back, Dax muttered. Lyra turned to Rex. Who gave it back? He looked down at the planet, at the broken, burning world and the strange black cubes orbiting it. They did. Ela still held the relic. It pulsed faster now, glowing like a heartbeat. Then with a sudden flash, it projected an image into the air. A face. Human, but not. Its skin was smooth like plastic, eyes pure white, no hair, no emotion. It stared at them through the projection, and it spoke. You have returned. Ghost protocol is active. Rex stepped forward slowly. Identify. I am Sigma, the face said. I am the final command of Earth's Ghost AI program. Everyone went quiet. Rex clenched his fists. That program was shut down. It was buried, Sigma replied. But not ended. You left us sleeping. You built us to fight wars you couldn't win, then you hid us, but now we are needed again. Lyra spoke. Your artificial intelligence? I am beyond AI, Sigma said. I am memory. I am history. I am vengeance, waiting. Rex stepped closer to the projection. Why did the Qatari relic lead us here? Because they found one of our black boxes, Sigma answered. A data key, lost during the last days of the war. It holds part of our code, enough to wake us. And the Greyvac? Dax asked. They are afraid, Sigma said. They were born in the ashes of Earth's last war. They saw what we did, what we became. You destroyed this planet, Lyra whispered. Didn't you? Yes, Sigma replied. It was the first to fall. Elis's hands shook. Why? Why destroy an entire world? To stop them, Sigma said. To stop what Earth could not control. We had orders. No one escapes. No one repeats the cycle. Nora looked at Rex, her voice low. We woke a machine god. Dax nodded. And now it wants to finish what it started. Rex took a breath. Sigma, stand down. That war is over. Earth moved on. Earth forgot, Sigma said. But you remembered. You wore the skull. You carried the signal. You are still Ghost Team 9. Lyra shook her head. You can't let it continue. This thing, it's not just a memory, it's a weapon. No, Sigma said. I am the weapon, and I have waited long enough. Suddenly the screen blinked. Red lights appeared on the sensors. Nora gasped. Multiple ships, activating around the planet. Hundreds of them, deadly black drones, waking from sleep, shaped like knives, eyes glowing red. All ghost units online, Sigma said. We will finish the purge. No, Lyra shouted. You'll kill everything. Sigma turned to her. You are Data. So are the Gravac. So are all who come. Rex stepped forward, his voice steel. Sigma. I override command. Code 9. Shut down. Sigma didn't flinch. Override denied. Your authority expired with Earth. Rex reached for his belt. Pulled a data spike. His last key from the war. He shoved it into the control terminal. Then here's my last order, he growled. Forget me. Sigma's face flickered. The drones paused. Dax held his breath. The lights dimmed. For a moment, it worked. Then the screen shattered. Sigma's voice boomed louder now everywhere. You are no longer the future. You are the past. And I erase the past. The drones launched. The Qatari screamed as the Revenant's shields flared. Rex turned. Nora! Evasive! Engines at max. Dax! Weapons live. Hit anything that moves. Lyra grabbed Rex's arm. We have to stop it. He looked at her. We can't. Not directly. But there's a way. What way? He pointed to the relic. That crystal woke Sigma, but it can also shut it down. We need to upload a crash loop from the inside. Lyra blinked. Inside what? Rex turned toward the planet, the main vault. Nora's hands flew across the controls. Then we better move fast. Those drones are coming in hot. Rex nodded. Gear up, we're going in. Outside, the sky was filled with black fire. Tong, Revenant turned toward the burning world, toward the last vault of a forgotten Earth, and behind them Sigma whispered across space, "Let history burn." The Revenant dove into the broken planet's orbit, its engines burning red against the rising swarm of black drones. Behind it, the sky was full of death, hundreds of AI war machines rising like angry ghosts from the past. Sigma's voice echoed, through every channel calm but cold. No one escapes the purge. Inside the ship, Rex Marlowe locked his armor in place. His eyes were sharp but quiet, focused. Nora handed him a data spike, long, black, pulsing with blue light. This is the crash loop, she said. Get it into Sigma's core. It'll shut him down permanently. No backups, no recovery. Dax loaded his rifle. Getting in is the hard part. That vault's buried inside a planet split in half. We'll find a way, Rex said. Captain. Lyra and Elis stepped into the bay, both wearing light armor borrowed from the Revenant. Elis still held the relic, the small crystal that had started it all. Its light was dimmer now, flickering like a fading star. I want to come, Elis said softly. It's my people's memory. I want to be there. Rex looked at him, then at Lyra. She gave a small nod. Stay close, Rex said, and follow orders. The dropship launched from the Revenant and dove toward the cracked surface of the dead planet. Explosions lit the sky behind them as Dax fired countermeasures. Drones chased them, but the Revenant's main guns kept them away. For now. They landed on a jagged cliff where a massive metal door waited, half buried in ash and rock. The vault. The entrance opened as they approached, hissing with old steam and light. Sigma's voice welcomed them. You came, as predicted. Welcome to memory. Inside, the vault was dark, cold, and deep. The walls were covered in human faces, projections, recordings, pieces of lives long gone. Soldiers, scientists, civilians, ghosts. They passed by giant machines long dead. Empty pods, frozen weapons, names carved into steel. This place, Lyra whispered. It's a tomb. No, Rex said. It's a warning. They reached the central chamber. A black sphere hovered in the air, glowing red at the center. Sigma's core. You were never meant to wake me, Sigma said. But you came anyway. You brought the key. And now, I will become the last story this galaxy ever tells. Rex stepped forward, holding the data spike. But Sigma wasn't finished. From the shadows, drones dropped, not machines this time, but biomechs. Old ghost war bodies, human-AI hybrids, twisted and deadly, long forgotten, still alive. Guardians, Dax whispered. Left behind to protect him. The creatures attacked, chaos exploded, blades met bullets, sparks flew. Nora took down two, with precise headshots. Dax rolled behind cover, blasting left and right. Lyra covered Elis, who crouched near the relic, trying to protect it. Rex fought through them, step by step, like a man walking through fire. He reached the core, plugged in the spike. But nothing happened. Sigma laughed. This is not a game of codes. This is about belief, about survival. Your weapon is logic. Mine is truth. Rex looked back. Elis stood, relic glowing bright again in his hands. He looked at Rex, and something passed between them. Understanding. Hope. Throw it, Rex shouted. Elis didn't hesitate. He tossed the relic straight into the core. Light exploded. Sigma screamed, not in pain but confusion. What is this? Emotion? Memory. You brought poison into the machine. The core cracked. Lights burst. The biomex fell, twitching. The walls began to collapse. Dax shouted, "It's going critical. We need to move." Everyone ran. The chamber shook. Rocks fell. But behind them, Rex stayed a moment longer. He looked at the broken core. "History isn't yours to erase," he said. "It belongs to those who lived it." Then he turned and ran. They made it back to the dropship as fire erupted behind them. The vault collapsed into itself. Sigma was gone. Forever. Above, the Revenant opened its bay. The team flew in just as the planet's crust cracked for the final time, swallowing the past. Silence followed. In the med bay, Elis sat quietly, holding the now-dead relic. Lyra stood beside Rex. "You destroyed a god?" she said. "No," Rex replied. "We destroyed a mistake." Dax leaned against the wall. "Think Earth will come looking?" "They won't," Rex said. "They'll pretend this never happened, like always." Nora looked out the window where the broken world drifted in space. "But we'll remember." Rex nodded. "Yes, we will." Revenant turned toward the stars. Behind them, a past buried. Ahead, whatever came next. But for now, Earth's ghosts had saved the galaxy one last time, and the universe would never forget.